on screen. Again, we're talking to Roger Stone right now. I'm Alex Jones. Infowars.com is my website. StoneZone.com is his website. Let's go ahead and take a call from Rob in Canada. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. How are you?
Good.
Hey, Roger. Question for you. What are your thoughts on these continual rumors, by Bill Kristol and the neocons to bring some third-party candidate in to, just kind of...
Well, they say they're doing it. They say they're preparing it, yeah.
Well, I think it's a bit of a misnomer. First of all, it's recognized that there's probably no third-party nomination available to a new candidate.
Can't get on the ballot.
The Libertarians nominated their ticket this weekend, my friend Governor Gary Johnson and Governor Bill Weld. And the Greens are not going to nominate somebody copacetic to Bill Kristol. So what Bill Kristol's really talking about is an independent third candidacy. The requirements in most states are actually even more rigorous in terms of valid signatures.
Sure. So, we know it's a fraud. So what's the point of it?
I don't really understand. Look, I like Bill Kristol. We disagree on everything. He is a dastardly neocon, but he's charming company. He voted, he was a supporter of Hubert Humphrey. He's not my political cup of tea, but he's a fine fellow. This is folly. I don't know what this is about.
Sure. Well, you're being a gentleman. Let's get back to Johnson, who's been a guest probably 20 times here. A good governor. I like him overall. Didn't you run his campaign once?
I worked very closely with him.
Okay. So, but let's be honest. He's saying something about Trump that isn't true. He's acting nasty, and he's trying to spoil this thing, get the Libertarians to hand this to Hillary. So let's take the gloves off on Mr. Johnson.
The truth of the matter is that if Bill Weld and Gary Johnson run the right campaign for them, which is to be fiscally conservative and conservative on defense, but to be socially liberal on marijuana and civil liberties, they will, just as Johnson did 4 years ago, take pretty evenly from Hillary Clinton and
Good.
Donald Trump. So don't buy this whole...
Sure, but he's kind of running on a Trump-bashing platform.
I have seen Gary's comments. I don't think that that's productive, but I also can't presume to tell him how to run his
He's going to destroy himself with the real libertarian movement if he does that. I think you should watch it. Let's take another call. Al in New Jersey, you're on the air. Go ahead with Roger Stone.
Hey, Alex and Raj, you guys doing a great job. Listen, a very quick suggestion. Why don't we bring up with Lord Monckton and Donald Trump a discussion on a global warming so we could smack Bernie's face and Hillary's because they be trying to slide out.
Trump should hammer turning our power plants on and how they're sabotaging America and how China opens 3 a week. We shut down 3 a week. I think he's hit that some, but I think that's a key for him to hammer. Roger?
I don't necessarily disagree, but in all honesty, climate change is one of those issues the left tries to use to disqualify Trump. And based on the polling that I have seen, it is not one of the driving issues of this election. Our economy is a driving issue. Immigration.
Borders, guns.
Right. Immigration is a driving issue. Our foreign policy is a driving issue. And our trade policy and its connection to jobs is a driving issue. I think Trump can hold his own on the climate change issue. But frankly, I want to look for areas where we have commonality with Bernie right now, rather than
I get it. We want to get Bernie, folks, once he drops out.
We need a third of those votes for Donald Trump to win.
All right, I want to take a few more calls here. You've got to go in a moment, but we've seen him as he takes the gloves off and really goes with your book and your research on the raping and the rest of it and the deaths. Vince Foster. That's when he starts surging in polls. So hopefully he's a smart guy. I know he is. He's getting the advice from you and others to get even more hardcore.
Well, look, he's a brawler. He's a fighter. Nobody's putting words in his mouth. He has a broad cross-section of advisors in the sense that he consults many, many friends, and he's always asking for people's opinions. But at the end of the day, I hate to steal a phrase from George W. Bush, but Trump is the decider. And what you see is what you get. The fact that he's not a confection, that he's not a phony, that he's not politically correct.
Sure, that's what folks see. Real quick, Robert in Michigan, you're on the air with Roger Stone.
Hey, Alex. Hey, Mr. Stone. How you doing?
Good. Go ahead, Robert.
That's good. Real quick, this question, Mr. Stone, regarding Mr. Trump's agenda. As far as, in my opinion, I think, in order for him to win, if he can take away some of the African-American votes from Hillary, because 90% of African-Americans, for some reason, are wholehearted to the Democratic Party, regardless how egregious they are. But if he can get like 20% out of that base, I think he'll have a smooth victory to.
I agree. Shouldn't he go all in for the African-American vote?
Absolutely. There's no question. First of all, the Clintons have done nothing for the African-American community. The reason so many young African-American men are incarcerated today for possession of small amounts of drugs is because of the policies of Bill Clinton.
And then she decries it, acting like he didn't do it.
Right. But she called black people super predators, and she said they needed to be brought to heel. Bill Clinton told Ted Kennedy of Barack Obama a few years ago, this boy would be getting us coffee. This is the dog whistle politics of the Clintons, who ride with the hounds when it suits them. They are no friends of the
African. Let's just say it. The Clintons are what I'm ashamed of in the South. I mean, Bill Clinton, she's not a Southerner, but Bill Clinton's a nasty Dixie Mafia, Klansman type. And, of course, her mentor is Robert Byrd, the Grand Dragon. These are filthy people. Roger, I know you got to go, but we'll come back for 2 minutes and 70 seconds. When we come back in the third hour, just finish up a few things with Roger Stone. That's a great point, Robert. I'm going to give you a comeback. So stay there. I want to have you pop back in with Stone on the other side. 70 seconds out. All right, a few more minutes with Roger Stone. Then we've got a Marine Corps colonel coming on along with Tosh Plumlee to expose ongoing fast and furious guns through Mexico to ISIS and Al-Qaeda. We know the shipment. We're trying to stop it. I'm going to probably call Homeland Security on air. In fact, guys, pull up that See Something, Say Something number for me, because we're going to try to stop this arrogance that's going on right now. Robert in Michigan, I want you to have a comeback bringing up that great point that black unemployment's basically right at doubled under Obama. And a lot of black commentators I know, it's just say, look, I'm not even a conservative, but we literally funding, attention, and he doesn't even go speak in these communities. And it's almost like, well, the poorer we make you, the more you'll be under our control. That's the view I see. And for everything I've heard about Donald Trump, this guy really gets off on making everybody wealthy and really, really likes everybody, regardless of what color they are. So I want you to be able to come back in a moment. But Roger, can you speak from your experience, 40 years?
Well, look, first of all, it's anecdotal. I must say the number of African Americans at Trump rallies just seems to be disproportionately large. And as I travel, because I have spoken out for Trump and on behalf of Trump and given a lot of surrogate speeches for Trump, it's amazing the number of people who come up to me in airports, on the street, in stores, in restaurants, and they high-five me. The irony is that the vast majority of them are African American. Just anecdotally. So I've seen it firsthand. People like the fact that Trump would re-energize the economy. These people want their piece of the American pie. They don't want to be employees. They want to be
Look, even Louis Farrakhan's liking him. I mean, I'm not. It's just getting. People want prosperity. They want to hear we're great.
Well, I like his bow ties, but I'm not crazy about his politics.
Well, he just likes hearing, bring money back into the communities and get the country going. Robert, Michigan, I come back to that.
Yeah. Well, my point is, I know this. Most of the free world, a lot of people know this, but the mainstream, they do a poor job, in my opinion, but somewhat effective. Like everything you mentioned about how bad the Clintons are. I watched the Clinton Chronicles. I sat there and watched the whole movie. And it's very factual, very, I presented the facts and I understood it, and all the other cases that you make, Mr. Stone. But I guess my question is, how do you get that message to the mainstream?
It's a great question. Thank you, Robert. Got to jump. Great question.
That's what a campaign is about. That's why you go out and support super PACs that oppose Hillary Clinton. Because if the mainstream media, say CNN, doesn't want to interview you, that means you have to buy a 30 or 60-second spot in between their program breaks. That's advertising. This is the great thing about Citizens United. It used to be just the Clintons and the Bushes had political money. Now any citizen can go out there and be effective. Speech is money.
Let me ask you this, because I know you'll straight shoot us. You don't rah-rah. You don't cheerlead to put a good face on things. In fact, I think you give us the worst case. A lot of times behind the scenes, you tell me this is how the state's really going to go when the media's saying the opposite. And you've been right. I mean, you're super accurate. Not kissing your butt, no brag, just fact. What's his real numbers, looking at all the polls? I mean, it's true he's getting ahead of Hillary, right? But, I mean, what do we face? The money issue? I mean, how is Trump really doing right now?
First of all, the idea that any Republican is running essentially even or in a dead heat or slightly behind or slightly ahead of Hillary Clinton at this point is extraordinary. You usually don't see this kind of closeness and gap closing until much later in the campaign. That means that there is, without any question, enough votes here to elect Donald Trump. Now, Trump is about to undergo the most virulent, nasty campaign of vilification in American political history. At the same time, they're going to try to discredit and smear the brave women who are going to stand up and tell people what the real Bill Clinton is like, a rapist. And they're going to attack him on a dozen other things, calling him a bigot, a racist, a misogynist, a lunatic, a wild man. It's the Barry Goldwater treatment. I don't think it will work. People are on to the two-party duopoly and their smear tactics. But this is the fact that Trump is this competitive in states like Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, is extraordinary.
Florida.
This is going to be very, very.
Is he going to
very
win California?
It's not impossible, but in all honesty, in my model for 270, he doesn't need to win California.
All right. Roger Stone, StoneZone.com. Thank you so much. What's the name of the PAC again? The good one.
The Committee for American Sovereignty. I think there will be other fine PACs and
Sure, but we don't want to
legitimate
support
PACs.
Karl Rove running off the cookie jar. Thank you, Roger. See you here in studio Friday.
Take care.